All right, g'day, hi, and welcome. Okay, my Sthil MS180 little chainsaw, semi-rebuilt or something like that. It's a bit of a review. I've now been working with it for a little over a week. 2 weeks? Week and a half? So I found my better file for my rakers, so I just did the rakers. This file was kind of no good. But my last video still stands. You know, you can get away with just these two. If you get yourself a good filing jig, this is a good idea too. Good idea too. So anyway, here's what I got. I've now worked with the saw enough times to basically tell you, who this saw is for and whatever and what it is. So we'll start with the what it is. It's basically, obviously, a Sthil 180 MS. This is a slightly older saw. You can see by the caps that these are the... I don't know how old this saw is, but judging by these caps, all the new Sthils have the quick caps there, which I like a lot more. It is a 31cc mini beast, as I call him. That's an aftermarket bar on it, I'm sure. It's a Pro Series bar. And the chain, it's not new, but I got this saw for 250 bucks. Is what I'm going to have to, is what I owe on it. Basically, I'm going to be giving labor instead of buying the saw cash. I'm going to be working it off. So a little bit different, but about a $250 value of it. You got your handbrake, you got your regular, your regular handle. You've got no decompressor on it, but this, you'd have to be a girly-whirly man if you can't pull this thing over. You have 4 settings, so bizarrely, my handle, I guess the saw has been banged around a little bit too, because my handle thing wasn't, or the first setting, which is the off setting, that's the kill is all the way up, right? Then you have like a choke setting, a run setting, and then you've got a start setting. So you got 4 settings on this. So to start this saw, it's pretty easy. Like all Sthils, you pull in that, go all the way down. And then when you're done, you just give it, when it starts, it'll kick back into the run setting. And then if you want to choke it more, and then, it jammed again. So this saw, there's something funky with the handle here. So again, it's not a new saw, but I've done a lot of cutting with it so far, so I'll have to figure out what's bent in there, but it seems like on this one, it doesn't go into the offsetting, so I just choke it to stall it. You've got a visibility for the gas, a visibility window as well for the oil, although it's kind of foggy. And you've got an oiler adjuster in there, your chain adjuster there, and that's pretty much like most chainsaws. So who's this saw for? What do I like about it? What don't I like about it? There's not too much I don't like about it. Like I've been having a hoot with this thing. Most people, this is probably all the chainsaw they'll ever need. But with a caveat, is you have to understand the limitations of a small saw. So you want to cut down a beast like that, and there are people who will buy that because it's cheap, and they'll say, I'm going to cut down this tree, I'm not going to buy a more expensive. But you could cut down that tree with this saw very dangerously, but you could do it. You'd have to notch 100 times just to be able to get that small bar through there. It can take up to a 16-inch bar, but you're going to lose, for every inch you add on the blade, any saw, you lose power. So this thing's about 2 horsepower, believe it or not. It's like 1.8 horsepower or something like that of a horsepower. So it's pretty powerful for a little saw. It's not meant to cut down stuff like that. But that branch, no problem. That big branch right there, no problem. Ideally, stuff that size is perfect for this. Anything that's going to cut from it within here to here is ideal for the saw. Extreme hardwoods, yeah, you're going to have a really sharp chain. You have to have a really good, a lot of patience. The saw is going to be a little bit slower in that sense. But zipping through branches, even like that, hot knife through butter. It works great. So like I said, this is probably all the saw somebody need. This is the MS series of Sthils they're the nicer saws than the regular, kind of like they have a higher duty cycle, I think, is what it is. So they just last a little bit longer, and you can work them a little bit longer. That said, I've done a couple hours at a time with it. Most of the time it's just like fall a branch or two, but the other day I was cutting up skids. I fell a small branch off of a tree that was about that size, but it was going to overhang a house or whatever. So I fell it on the chicken fence instead. Scares the crap out of the chickens, but anyway, did the job. Easy saw to maintain. No real complaints whatsoever. It's nice and light. It's around the 10-pound mark. Now, I don't know if they're just saying 10 pounds for the head, but saws are always heavier than what they advertise anyway. But that said, you can work with this thing all day. It's nice and light. It's nice and short. Great for overhead kind of branches, trees down, and you've got to I'll show you real quick there. If you got a tree down, and when you're down like this, yeah, it's not so good. But when you're doing this stuff, or this, or this, or this, or this, it's fantastic. Why? Because it doesn't weigh 15 pounds. So yard work is absolutely perfect for down trees, branches. You want to do stove wood all day with it? No, I wouldn't put it through that kind of abuse. It's a great limbing saw because it's nice and light. Yeah, the bar is short, so you got to get right in there. But for most stuff, like even a tree like this, I would limb a tree like this probably with a bigger saw if it was, I was on the clock. But if I was doing it for myself, the smaller branches, I'd grab this, from the first half of the tree, you'd probably use a bigger saw. The other half of the tree, you'd use something like this because it's small enough and quick, light. And again, you're not breaking your back to use it. So that's kind of like who this saw is for. So a rancher, a farmer, homeowner, perfect for that. Bushwork guy, no, too small. They're going to go for bigger saws just because they're using them all day. Whatever. So this is kind of like it's not an enthusiast saw, so to speak. It's more of it is a very tool to the job. It's a branch massacring machine. It does really good. Small stove wood, fantastic. I love it. It's great. So yeah, so far so good. We'll see how it holds up. I mean, this is only kind of like week 2 of it, and it's paid for itself, even though I don't quite own it yet. I still have to work the hours off for it. It actually is already paid for itself about twice, maybe even almost 3 times. So very good tool to have. Yeah, there we go.